Joining me right now to unpack all this is political commentator Michael Reagan. Mike, great to talk to you again.
Good to see you, and condolences to JD and the loss of his mother. I've been there and understand it. So JD, best to you, buddy.
Yeah, we're sending our thoughts and prayers to the Hayworth family. As Michael mentioned there, JD lost his mother over the weekend, and that's why I'm here filling in and happy to do that as he tends to his family. But we'll focus back now, Michael, for a second. We'll leave our thoughts and prayers with JD, but get to the task at hand, and that is these wild card, these third-party candidates. We've seen a candidate in Florida, and there's also this guy in the governor's race there. And as we look at the Senate races, independent Greg Orman could cost incumbent Senator Pat Roberts his seat. Is this really a case of third-party candidates gaining more traction, or does this speak more to the fact that a lot of voters out there are unhappy with both parties?
I mean, you can go back historically. I mean, go back to my father's races back in the 1970s, 1980s. There's always third-party candidates that are out there. Most of the time, they're libertarian, as they are today. They're sitting at, excuse me, 1%, 2%, 3% in the polls. Everybody always worries, are they going to hurt one of the candidates or both of the candidates and what have you? And I think that's why you see in Kansas, you see Sanders going in there, Ted Cruz going in there, others going in there to help Pat Roberts. I was down in North Dakota here a few weeks ago. Of course, big race down there with Tillis and Kay Hagan. You got an independent down there. The issue is, what is the Republican Party or the Democrat Party, but the Republican Party doing to have a message that's going to include independents, because the independents are always going to be there.
All right, Michael, we'll have to leave that thought there.
Like in California and other places, but you have to have a message.
We'll leave that there for a second. We'll turn our attention now to an American moment before we return back to continue the conversation with Mike Reagan.
Today, a hope of many years standing is in large part fulfilled.
The Social Security Act of 1935 was the cornerstone of President Franklin Delano Roosevelt's New Deal agenda, a program designed to ease the burden of old age by providing a continuing income to those 65 and older, benefits to those unemployed, and protections and assistance to disabled children. At the time, the program was limited in scope, since the average American's lifespan in 1940 was just 63 years. But in the dark days of the Great Depression, FDR offered comforting words to a nation emerging from the nation's worst economic crisis in its history, the Great Depression. The first Social Security check was issued on January 31st, 1940, to Ida Mae Fuller, who was unmarried. A school teacher and legal secretary, Fuller worked only 3 years under the new Social Security law, earning her a check in the amount of $22.54. Today, the average Social Security recipient receives a monthly check of $1,294, and the law was amended in 1956 to include disability benefits to those who qualify. The program was originally designed as a pay-as-you-go, self-funding trust fund, with equal contributions being made by both the employer as well as the employee, as demonstrated in this 1940 film.
As soon as you get the card, show it to your employer. He'll need it on payday, for he must deduct from your salary 1.5% of your earnings as your share of the cost of Social Security.
The plan remains essentially the same today, but the system has a rocky road ahead. In 1950, 16 employees paid into the Social Security system for every one retiree. Today, 3 workers pay in per retiree, and within 2 decades, just 2 workers will pay to support each retiree. Still, since its beginning, hundreds of millions of Americans have and continue to benefit from the program. For Newsmax TV, I'm Bill Curtis.